All right, we are live. The Run.down over here on the Strickland YouTube channel, Strickland Podcast Network, all that good stuff. Knicks win of with a score of. I should be more prepared with this, but
I think it was 101-89.
hold on, I got it. I got it. 102 to 89,
Ah, damn.
off by one, off by one. But Knicks win 102 to 89. They get the job done. Finish up the regular season portion, I guess, of the summer league with a record of 3-1 and the highest point differential, which means if things go according to plan, or as at least we hope they should, the Knicks will be playing for the summer league championship, hopefully on the last day of summer league. Um, this game was a pretty good game, pretty good, or another good start by the Knicks. Knicks have had this great habit of coming out really prepared, really aggressive early on in these games. We didn't get to really follow it up that much in the Portland game, but this game we came more prepared, and I think we definitely kept up our aggressiveness, even though they didn't make it a game. But yeah, let's just get into the box score and dive into like players that stood out to us. I think the main standout from this game was definitely Deuce McBride, who who finished the game with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Shot the ball really well, 69% from the field, and was definitely more aggressive getting to the rim than he was in previous games. Tyrese, what did you see from Deuce this outing?
I saw greatness, man. Finally, Deuce is like playing aggressive. Like, he heard the rumors and he came through. He was like, "You ain't trading me, boy." Like, that's what I like to see Deuce. Like, Deuce getting into the rim, playing aggressive, like not settling just for jumpers. We know we can take the pull up shots in the world. We know he can make all those jumpers, but like him getting paint touches and him being able to collapse defenses is what's going to get him minutes on this team and ultimately get him contracts in the future. So showing that he was able to do that, playing very smart, very decisive, very aggressive. That's what you want to see from Deuce. So I'm always happy to see it.
Yeah, and I mean, also pretty aggressive getting to the free throw line. 5 free throws, made 4 of them. So definitely being way more aggressive, not being as passive as he was in previous games. And I think it was just a love just a matter of him getting more comfortable, I guess, in summer league, which took at least 2 3 games, but it was there. The defensive aggression is always gonna be there with him, so that's something that you never have to really question. um let's get on to Quentin Grimes. I mean, another solid performance. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Definitely showcased a lot of different moves off the dribble today. Like even more so than he did the past like 3 to 4 games. I mean, if you go on the timeline right now, you'll probably see a whole bunch of videos of him mixing up magic defenders and getting into the paint, finishing. So it was really encouraging to see him continue to make those strides and on with the ball in his hands. And even post game when he was speaking to Dennis Scott, he was saying that how this offseason he's been really working on like getting more comfortable with the ball in his hands, being able to make reads out of the pick and roll, being able to make plays for himself as well as his teammates. So it's just a matter. It's just good to see that he took that into his own hands and made that his own initiative to really improve in that area of the game because he does want to. I think he does. He is really vying for that starting shooting guard spot if things remain the same.
We'll talk about that, but yeah, like I think it's a weird arc for Grimes where like he comes in to Kansas, he's this lead ball handler, it doesn't work. Like he definitely is not some kind of point guard, and then he goes to Houston, he reinvents himself, reinvents his game, comes out more of like a 3-and-D wing, and now you're seeing like with like the baseline of shooting and defense that he has, him once again tapping into that like creator kind of bag. So there's definitely flashes. Like we've seen the light skinned Devin Booker comps, which is hilarious. But light skinned Devin Booker. Yeah, we're off the rails today. But yeah, like you definitely see like the flashes of Kansas Quentin Grimes in there, and like it just seems like heightened because of his shooting and his ability to do stuff off the dribble. And he's talented, man. Like he definitely is going to be more like a 3-and-D guy, like a guy like that who can like shoot off the dribble and play defense to that level is going to be more than like you're running the Reggie Bullock or like Royce O'Neal. He's going to be more valuable. So I'm looking forward to it. He also got to the line 6 times. So like there's definitely some upside there for him getting to the rim, him being able to like draw free throws and stuff like that. So yeah, man, like Grimes has a sky high ceiling, a very sky high ceiling, and it wouldn't surprise me if like he reaches it either here or somewhere else.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, like you said. Jericho Sims, 12 points, 10 rebounds, a steal, 5 for 5 from the field. Also got to the free throw line quite a bit as well. And just continuing to see great stuff from Jericho. He didn't really showcase much of the dribbling today. I guess it wasn't really needed much today, as well as I think they were just trying to keep things simple and get the win today. They probably knew it was at stake in terms of in terms of like
Like making the summer league final.
yeah.
Like they about to be
Um
they're about to be ringed. So
yeah, they're going for those rings right now. Farron Hunt again, another solid outing. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Letting it fly from downtown, I like it. The 3 attempts, I do like to see that, even though he didn't make any. But it's just a matter of like being able to take those shots and like not falling into what the defense wants you to do. Showcase some stuff, slashing as well. Defensively, he's always gonna make his presence known with his length. I thought that he played a pretty solid game. Rounding out that front court with him and Sims, their length just like really bothered teams this whole summer
pause,
league, and especially Orlando.
pause. But no, I'm like I think the summer league has sold me on Ferran Hunt more than anybody. Cause I'm like I knew Grimes was good, I knew Deuce was good, I knew Sims was good, but like Ferran Hunt, dude is just like long, twitchy, and like he can play his defense. Like the three balls a work in progress, but like the free throws are encouraging. I buy the form. I don't think it's like as bad as the percentages say. And like he could do a little bit of everything. He could pass. Like he could read the floor well. Like the dude has upside. I would not be surprised if he's on a standard contract by the time the season starts. I think that actually might be the thing. Like I think he might be on a standard contract. They'll probably put him in the Jericho contract, which is like 3 years or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, he hasn't signed an NBA contract, so you could give him like 3 years and he should be fine. But like, yeah, I fully believe that to be the case. I think I do think that Ferran Hunt gets a contract because like he's been hooping.
He has. What's gonna be interesting to see is like if his contract comes as a result of like extra roster spots being available after a potential trade in the future or whatnot. But yeah, I think that he may end up vying for like one of those end of bench contracts.
Yeah, like I don't know if he's been in a rotation, but like if he has to play like spot minutes, I feel okay with that. Like I wouldn't feel like oh no we're sunk. I feel like he can contribute. So
Yeah, he does stuff that are like easily translatable to the floor in the league, which is like slashing, playing defense, um creating off of well, not creating, but like attacking closeouts and stuff like that. So
cutting especially, dude. Like he just man, I really like his game. I really do like his game. So it'll be good to see what happens there.
yep. Trevor Keels, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. I thought he looked much better today. He definitely looked much better. I thought some of his attempts were like a lot of his like attempts today looked way easier and less forced than they did in the past, which was very encouraging because I felt like sometimes he was just like trying to score just because. And I thought today he really found like easy opportunities, whether it was cutting or like he had favorable matchups and he just drove past his man and was able to create a layup out of that. And like and he showcased a little bit of the playmaking. I like some of the passes that he had today. One pass that really stood out to me was early in the game he was handling the ball, which was very unusual because he usually doesn't get to handle the ball that much. He usually just attacks like off closeouts or like he pump fakes and then tries to drive past his man. But this time he had like a pick and roll situation with Jericho, found Jericho down low for easy basket. I really like that because like he didn't really get to showcase much of that um, in the summer league, and I know in at Duke he didn't really get to really showcase that much of that either because I know the offense really ran through more of Paolo as well as the other guys there. So
Yeah, I agree. Keels is raw as hell, but like you like the flashes, you like the defense especially. Um, yeah, like I think he's fine. Like you're not expecting much from an 18-year-old, but the guy I do want to talk about is Montero. Like I was a non-believer in Montero coming in. I kind of thought he was overrated. I'm like he's small, the defense is okay, but like he didn't really move me, and I was like that's why he went undrafted. But like I really do like Montero's game. Like he feels like an off guard. I don't think he's a primary, but like he just plays heady defense and he like knows what to do. And I feel like I like his processing a lot. So he's young. He's like only 19. But well, he's only 19 if you believe the if you don't believe the rumors. Uh, you heard about them?
yeah,
Yeah, they say he's 21. but but yeah, like if you believe that he's 19, then I think there's definitely like a good there could be a good NBA player in there if he's like develops correctly. So
yeah, I was surprised by how easy he was able to get so many layups and points in the paint um throughout all of summer league, despite his small frame. But he makes it work somehow. So
also you seen that man face, he is definitely 21.
oh yeah, for sure, he's not a
Oh,
19-year-old.
I don't care if he's small and he's like 6'2" and skinny, but like that dude is 21 at least.
Uh, um, Daquan Jeffries. I think he might if Fahrenheit is converted to like a two-way, not a two-way, but a standard. I think Daquan Jeffries could make a case for that other two-way spot because he really showed some stuff, especially shooting the ball. Shot the ball well today. Kept us ahead in the game. Especially when it seemed like the Magic were trying to make things like really close in the third quarter. He got some open threes and was able to convert them. And all you can ask for, as well as the guy, he just plays hard. He had 2 blocks as well, so he plays both ends of the floor pretty well. So all you can ask for some role players. And yeah, I definitely could see him getting that other two-way spot he if Farron Hunt is
Converted to a standard
converted
prospect.
into a standard. Yeah. Other than that, though, I think Michael Potter, he did some things in his minutes.
We need to free
Um,
MJ Walker, man.
yeah, it's weird. MJ Walker and like guys from last year, like Amir Sims,
It
they're
hurt
not
my
getting
heart,
the
bro.
minutes.
It
They're not
really
getting
hurt
any
my
minutes
heart.
this summer, which is weird because like they got so many minutes last summer as well as I mean I guess maybe because they were in the G League for a lot of this year, that's why they're not getting that many minutes with the summer league squad. I don't know, but Dice is running his
I
dipshit
know.
right now.
I know. Micah Potter, Great White Hope, come off the bench,
Um
give you 12 solid minutes production.
so
White
should we get
White
into
boy front.
the
Yeah, yeah. You want to talk about it?
all right, let's get into the big thing. I mean, the main focus. I mean, we have this live stream to talk about the Knicks summer league. By the way, before we do get into things, I do want to notify folks that as of right now, the Knicks are at the top of summer league standings with a record of 3-1, with a point differential of 11.8. If things stand, there are games tomorrow, and there are games. There's like two more games tonight, and 7 games tomorrow. If things hold where the Knicks are still 3-1 by the end of things, as well as they are still the highest in point differential, they will be playing for the summer league chip on, I believe, is that Monday the 18th?
I think
I think that is.
it might be. I think so. Not the 17th, right? The 17th is when summer league ends.
Okay, so the 17th, on Sunday the 17th, the Knicks will be playing for the Summer League Championship. If things hold, I think they have a pretty good chance of being in that spot. I think they have a pretty good chance of winning. I mean, depends on who's at the top.
I it's Boston, Chicago. Yeah,
No,
Boston.
Chicago has a negative
Oh yeah,
one.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
Oh yeah,
either the Pelicans or the Portland Trailblazers that we be
oh,
playing in the
I
Summer League chip.
forget. Like it's plus minus. That's a dumb way to rank stuff, but like whatever.
But yeah, it's either between probably the Pelicans or the Trailblazers that we be playing on Sunday for the chip if things hold. I
I
mean,
mean,
if they win, because they're both 2-1 as well. So,
we
but
win
yeah,
in
if
that
they
bitch too. Like
we should win, we should be able to win. I know Portland kind of rocked us in the mouth the other day. They kind of caught us off guard. Their aggressiveness really bothered some of our guys, I think. But that may have been also a factor of us just like having played a game the day before. So we'll see. We'll see. Blaze is getting wrecked right now. Oh, that's tough. Well,
we
it's only
going
the
to
first
the
quarter,
ship.
so.
We going to the ship. Hey, we go.
But
Yeah,
yeah, let's get into the real reason why we're here. I mean, obviously the Knicks just played a summer league game. We know what to expect from our summer league guys at this point, so there's
we
not
don't
much
care
to
about
really
that
discuss.
shit. We got shit to talk about.
So if you haven't been living under a rock, you know that the Knicks and the Utah Jazz are in discussions for Donovan Mitchell trade. A couple days ago, I think they spoke to the Jazz GM, and he kind of basically said that no one was untouchable, and that kind of gave it. It didn't really explicitly say that Donovan Mitchell was going to be available for trade, but it kind of gave people the idea that he would eventually become. And then like a day or
He
two later, Woj kind of said that like they were going to be looking into like seeing what they could get for him. Um, and then Shams yesterday kind of broke that they have like them and the Knicks have been in discussions. So I mean, Teresa, I know you're.
I fucking told y'all this was happening how many months ago, and people call me fucking crazy. Like I was like, they getting Brunson, and yeah, we're like, nah, Cupid gonna pay the tax. You think again? Like I said, y'all thought Cube was gonna pay the tax for a minority. That shit was not happening. And then people were like, well, Donovan Mitchell, he ain't come. Like, yes, he was coming. This was the entire plan. Anyway, you could debate the logistics of it. You could debate the backcourt, whatever, whatever, whatever. But ultimately speaking, Knicks are probably on the cusp of getting a 25-year-old, three-time All-Star who puts up 26, 5, and 4 in his sleep. You can debate whether or not this is the final piece for a championship team. It's obviously not. You could debate whether or not they're going to give up the farm for this. They probably won't. And you could debate whether or not it's the right move to make. It is. So, ultimately speaking, again, the Knicks will end up with the best player in this deal with 3 years left on this contract and will still have assets and have time to build a roster around him, RJ, Brunson, and Julius. So, I mean, like ultimately speaking, there's just no reason to like be upset unless you're just like a very, very massive Quentin Grimes fan, which I don't blame you, or a very, very massive Evan Fournier fan, which I do blame you. Chris fucking Percy Hyden. Never mind. It was me and Chris on that boat last year, so I can't even say nothing. But yeah, I mean, We could talk about like how Ainge has been like leaking the last 2 days, trying to like get an offer started, and like nobody's biting because nobody has picks. Like this is what people don't understand about the league right now. The league doesn't have picks. Um, a lot of teams have made a bunch of all-in moves the last 3 years, and now it's basically a buyer's market. No longer a seller's market because not a lot of teams could like get into the conversation. So it's a matter of like, do the Knicks want Donovan Mitchell? If yes, they'll get him. If no, they'll wait for somebody else, and then the Jazz are getting an offer that's significantly worse than whatever the Knicks would offer. Because unless you think that Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, fucking Duncan Robinson, and 3 first round picks are going to move anybody, it is not feasible for them to like actually get in this conversation.
Yeah, it's just been interesting because like you said, Ainge has been obviously angling for teams to up the ante with their prices, but like no one can really match because, like you said, everyone's kind of made all these all-in moves these past couple of years, and teams like the Knicks who have been just stockpiling and are in a prime position to land a player like such, they finally find themselves in the right time as well as the right market for that. So like you said, Knicks probably have the Knicks definitely have the best offer for Donovan Mitchell. I saw someone the other day. Someone said that it'd be funny if Danny Ainge had to settle for like a Drew Holiday type package for Donovan Mitchell because like the market is just like not in his favor right now. But yeah,
Yeah, like
um, I
I
think a
assume this
lot of
probably was
people,
gonna happen.
and I think a lot of people also like they saw the Gobert trade and they're like, oh well, Donovan Mitchell's like better, so they're gonna like obviously want more, and like whoever wants Donovan Mitchell's gonna have to end up eventually giving up all that. So that's just not how negotiations works as well. Like I saw today like a report like Danny Ainge wants like 8 first-round picks as well as like a combination of like certain players that we have, including like Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, et cetera, et cetera. You can name all the young players that we have. And he can want all he wants, but like he's out of his damn mind if he thinks he's getting even half of that. Like you're gonna get what we say, like what the market dictates that you're gonna get, because like they don't have any leverage, like we discussed, like
Yeah,
we discussed before we came on here.
like
Um,
and to
they
get
don't have it.
into it, we could get into that real quick, like why they don't have leverage. Because people will be like, well, they have Donovan Mitchell, that's all the leverage they need. The leverage isn't in the fact like the Knicks don't care if they get Donovan Mitchell right now.
Yeah, they can go on with their regular season with Jalen Brunson, starting with Quentin Grimes, all that good stuff. Like the Knicks have no problem running it back with whoever they have right now.
And they'll probably still be a playing team. So like
Yeah,
they could definitely be like the 8th seed next year, and like you'll be fine. Meanwhile, Donovan Mitchell's just like in Utah with a bunch of
rotting.
bums and on an 11th seed. And if he's in the 11th seed, he's probably not making an All Star team, which drops his value and probably pisses him off as well. And you know how fucking Danny Ainge is, and like how people see Danny Ainge around the league, especially with like players, because the whole IT thing. So like it behooves Danny Ainge to like put himself in some good graces. It behooves the Jazz to like actually commit to the rebuild and not put like their first year head coach in a situation where like they're placating a star. We saw that shit happen with Steven Silas, and you know what happened. Like Harden got traded, and then they just full on embraced the rebuild. Just beat the horse. Um, but yeah, like ultimately speaking, if you look at the teams around the league, so Detroit is rebuilding. They also can't trade their pick. We have it. Houston is rebuilding. They also can't trade their pick. The Westbrook trade. Indiana rebuilding. San Antonio rebuilding. They just traded Murray. Orlando rebuilding. They took on the number 1 pick. OKC, duh. Um, Sacramento just traded a pick for Kevin Herter. Washington just trade like Washington has their pick traded in protections. We own their pick. Atlanta just traded all their picks for DeJounte Murray, so they traded out 2027 picks. So they have 2029, and that's it. It's nothing. Boston doesn't have a need for him, and they would have to trade Jalen Brown to get Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
That's not happening.
because again, the Jazz don't want long-term money, which is also part of
Right.
like the negotiations that kind of like stall things with other teams. Is like with other teams we were discussing before with a Miami, with a Tyler Hero, you acquire him, you are going to have to pay him. And they don't want him. They don't want RJ Barrett. That's part of the reason why they don't want RJ, because RJ's gonna have to get paid. That's probably a reason why they don't want Cam Reddish in the Knicks trade as well, because he's in a contract year and they're gonna have to pay him. The Jazz, they are like completely tearing this down. Danny Ainge did this in Boston with the Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rondo, getting rid of all those dudes all at once. He wants short-term contracts and he wants a hell of a lot of picks. He wants to basically do a factory reset of this team, and he thinks that's the best way to do it. And I mean, by all means, go ahead. We will gladly give you short-term contracts in Evan Fournier or Derrick Rose, as well as if you want Grimes, we will give you like 3 picks with him and be happy. Like,
Yeah.
I know not 3 picks exactly, but like we're gonna give you less than what you actually want. And
I think the age probably wants like 7 picks, but I think it'll probably end up being like 5.
yeah, I can see 5.
I think it'll be 5 just because like 3 picks from the draft day trade, those are like throw-ins, and then like 2 of the next picks from like 2024 or 2026. Also, I'll just say this out front: the Jazz had 3 picks in 2023. I doubt they want 2 more this year. Like you're not. What are you gonna do with 5 picks in the first round?
That's
Like that.
insane.
That's just too much picks. So what I think they will likely do is want 2024 picks because OKC owns their 2024 pick and it's top 10 protected, I believe. There's a better than decent chance they're better than a top 10 team. Like I could absolutely see them being like a late lottery team with all the talent they get. If they get like Grimes and Obi and like they still have decent pieces on that team. So like they're not a bad team by any means like that. They can't like out tank everything. Um so like yeah, I think what they probably want is unprotected Knicks 2024 pick, unprotected Knicks 2026 pick, and then the 3 picks that we got from the trading 11 on draft night. And that's a fair deal. Because at that point, you still have your picks this year. So you still have 2 picks this year, which means that you can trade those as well. You could trade those. You could trade the other young players you give the team. So like you can trade it quickly. You can trade an OB. I'm not saying do it, but you have that option. And then you'll still have picks in 2028 and 2030. So like you'll still be positive with assets. You'll still have the ability to like make another star trade if you wanted to, and I probably think on opposite they want to. And you still have RJ, you still have Cam, you still have Quickly, like you still have these pieces that you can make work. With that being said, I probably think the deal is going to be like Fournier, Grimes, Obi, because I don't see them wanting Cam. Mitch can't be traded. They don't want RJ. Quickly is staying here because he has the Donovan Mitchell connect. And Quickly was tampering his ass off this summer. Clap for Quickly. He did the damn thing. He was like, I'm going to the Hamptons with him. I'll stay on this team. Fuck y'all talking about. But yeah, it'll probably be Obi, it'll probably be Fournier, and it'll probably be Grimes. Maybe throw in McBride, maybe throw in Rokas, and 5 picks. That's
See, the
my
thing is with see, like this is the thing with a lot of the fan base believes, and I also believe it too. Oh snap, that's my man's on TV. But what you call it? Yeah, I think with if you're giving up a certain amount of picks, then that decreases the players that you have to give up. Because like if you're giving like if you say you give like 6 picks or something, you gotta take away one of those young guys. Like you gotta take away like an Obi or like throw in someone else. Because like I think the Knicks front office wants to keep as many of the young core as possible. So I think like Brian Windhorst is trying to cement his legacy this summer, and he said that he thinks it's going to be a really pick heavy deal.
Yeah, I think it'll be pick heavy. It'll obviously be pick heavy because like the Knicks they don't want to trade their depth, and the Knicks have excess space for a reason. So like, even if they trade 6 picks, they still have a bunch of first left over that they can trade and maneuver from, and their young players can net back first if they wanted to. So they have the means. It'll be similar to like what Memphis does, where like they basically trade dudes every year just to Um, like just to like reset assets. That'll be a conversation too. Like, or do we start resetting assets to save money on the cap? Um, I'm not gonna talk about that one. Like, I don't need people. I don't need people aggregating me. But I'll probably be for me and Prez in the pod this weekend. But yeah, like that's a very real conversation that the Knicks are probably gonna have, where they're like, okay, Quickly is worth X amount of money, but like, do we want to keep Quickly on a second contract when Brunson and Donovan Mitchell are here and they're making like $55 million combined? And Quickly is only playing like 20 minutes a game because as much as you could stagger them together, you can't play all three of them the amount of minutes that they deserve. Brunson and Mitchell will obviously get the bulk of minutes, and then Quickly's going to be like filling in the cracks.
So let me get to some comments real quick. Nemo says the thing is, why so many picks when the price for a disgruntled top 10 player wouldn't be much higher?
When do top 10 players become available? I know KD's available, but nobody's trading for KD right now. Like, you think of the top 10 players in the league. Giannis, not going to be traded anytime soon. Steph, not being traded anytime soon. Luka, maybe. But, like, even still, like, how many teams can really get involved in the Luka sweepstakes? Like, people who are waiting for the top 10 star, the top 15 star to fall from the sky in a trade request need to, like, understand that those guys don't get traded. And for good reason. They're top 10 players. You will rather make it work than try to trade them. Like, people are talking about Giannis leaving forever, and the Bucks actually decided to like put their fucking nuts to the fire, get him Drew Holiday, and they now he's not going anywhere, and he just signed a supermax. So like, these guys aren't leaving, and like your top 10 is going to ship soon. Like, you think Jason Tatum's going to leave the Boston Celtics after they make the fucking finals? Probably not. They still have all their picks for the future. They have the defensive player of the year, and they have a second co-star behind them. Like, he's not going anywhere. Devin Booker just signed $212 million. Cat just signed $212 million. Like, I get we're in no rush to empty the clip. Yeah, I agree we're in no rush to empty the clip, but like the clip's still gonna be there. Like, the clip's still gonna be there, and realistically, how many players are going to be as young as Donovan Mitchell, hitting the market as Donovan Mitchell, and be as good as Donovan Mitchell? Not a lot. Like, the Knicks have leverage because they can wait, but at the same time, you have to be realistic. How many times are you going to get this opportunity? The Knicks really need to, like, how many times do you really get this opportunity? And how many times are you going to have the ability to do this with all the picks that you have in your roster? And not to mention, here's the other kicker. How many of these opportunities are going to come where you'd have to trade RJ? Because that's a big
Where
one.
you don't have to trade him?
Exactly, because they're not trading him. Utah's not going to get RJ Barrett in this deal.
For me, with this deal, I'm okay with it at the right price, and the right price for me is not giving up much of the young depth, as well as like, for me, I don't really like draft picks won't really matter to me much if like the team is headed on the right direction. Um so like I'm not really all that like I'm not saying I'm gonna give up like 8 picks in this deal, but like there's a certain amount of picks where I'm just like, okay, fine. If it means that we don't have to sacrifice so much of the young depth, then fine, do it.
Yeah, I think I'm like halfway there, but I'm also halfway in the sense of like I do want picks to trade for the future, but I also think that like the Knicks can get picks if they wanted to. Like, their young guys could definitely accrue enough value to get like a pick, you know. So if you're trying to like make a package, a lot of these packages are pick based, so they could definitely get picks to get in the conversation. So I'm not really worried about that, and they could definitely like flip future picks. So
Yeah. Should we also talk about the fit, I guess, with Donovan Mitchell, because I think that's been a big topic of concern among the fan base.
I don't care.
Um,
I literally don't care about the fit, bro.
no,
Like,
I mean in terms of like the backcourt, because I feel like it's kind of overblown to a certain degree.
it's overblown because people are thinking that Donovan Mitchell's defense is going to be the same as it was in Utah. And like, people need to understand, Utah's offense was literally Donovan Mitchell, please save us. Like, Mike Conley was their second best offensive player. Mike Conley
Bojan
was washed.
Bogdanovic, but
But like, Bojan Bogdanovic can't shoot off the dribble. That's the problem. Like, Mike Conley was the only quote unquote creator there. And then there's like Jordan Clarkson. And Jordan Clarkson is bunts. That nigga was shooting Julius Randle numbers this year, okay? We didn't talk about it because he won Six Man of the Year last year, and they were on a decent team. Like Jordan Clarkson is basura. Mike Conley is washed. So like, it was him taking 20 shots a game because otherwise our offense would be dreadful, and Rudy Gobert can't catch shit if you fucking put fucking stick him on his hands. Like, I don't think he's going to be as bad defensively when Brunson is the best offensive player he's played with in his career. RJ Barrett could definitely develop into that, and the team will still have like quickly and like other pieces around him to like make his offense better. I'm not worried about his defense. I think both of them are like strong, even if they're like, they, are they going to be like perfect defenders? No, but they're not going to be Kemba. They're not going to be Trey. Like, they could be mediocre defenders, but when you have a lineup with like the defense that we have now, like I think they'll be fine. Like they'll be an above average defense for the regular season. In the playoffs, that's a different story. But like to be in the playoffs, you should have good regular season teams, and this is a good regular season team. So I'm not
I
worried
think
about it.
I think also with the defense too, with Donovan Mitchell, I think his physical tools kind of will Dibs will kind of like put him in the right spots to also be better defensively just because his physical tools are better. He's I don't think he's I don't think he's that short. Like they say he's 6'1", but like you see him in a picture next to John Morant and they're like the same height.
Yeah,
So
like
John
I think
Morant's listed at 6'3".
plus like he's like a
Also with
6'10"
Donovan Mitchell,
wingsman.
he has a 6'10" wingspan, exactly. So like I think the physical tools are there for him to be a plus defender, especially with more effort. He's playing in a city where he's probably wanted to play for most of his life, where he enjoys. It's not Salt Lake City. The hoes will definitely be watching courtside in New York City all the time, so he'll definitely have to play his A game on both
Lindor
ends.
coming to the game, bro. Like
So I think from an effort standpoint, because I think that's one thing that was really lacking in Utah, especially these last couple of years, where he kind of like was dogging it on that end. I think the effort will definitely be more improved in offensive. Like you said, he won't have to carry such an offensive load where he can lend his time to defense more. Because I think also a lot of people also pointed out how last year like we ended up being like right outside the top 10 in defensive rating, despite like starting the year with Kemba and Fournier as our starting backcourt, and then having Burks and Fournier be our starting backcourt. I mean, Dibs runs a pretty solid system that allows for the team to still have a positive um, impact defensively, no matter the personnel. So I think um, with better personnel and like um, I think with better personnel as well as like the offense will just like be that much better that it can like mitigate some of that defensive struggle if there is any,
yeah,
where it's not like so pertinent as it was last year because our offense was just such a rut in the mud last year. So
yeah. Like this offense is. Well, do I think it'll be top 10? Probably not. But can it be like the 12th best offense in the league with like the 14th best defense? Yeah, and that's a playoff team. Like the Knicks being a consistent playoff team is good as a fan, as like for the league. Like it's okay to just be a decent playoff team, like and then make moves subsequently afterward. The Knicks would be young. The oldest person on the team would be Julius Randle, and Julius Randle's 28. Like the team would be young. The team would be good. They'd be fun. They'd have length. They'd have um athleticism. It's just a good product. The Knicks haven't had a good product for a long time, and ultimately speaking, there's still time to like make moves to go towards like contendership. And you know how like the East is, like it's lucky to get like you could get lucky breaks in the playoffs. We've seen it with the Suns. We've seen it with the Heat. We've seen it where like teams could just like end up getting an injury and then like you're making the conference finals in 1 year you didn't think you'd make it in. So I'm just like I'm down with it because ultimately speaking, this is not going to be the final team, but it's going to be a fun team. It's going to be a playoff team, and like that's all you want.
and I think as Aaron is saying here, Donovan Mitchell opened up so many more opportunities for RJ. With those opportunities, I feel like he'll help him take the next leap on the offensive end. Yeah, I feel like having RJ not have to carry so much of that offensive load, um, like he did for that latter part of the year where his efficiency took a hit as well as his defense took a hit. I think scaling that back a little bit will help him because like you don't want to like rush the process too much. Where like we kind of like sped it up so much last year in the second half of the season.
He just needs to embrace being RJ Wiggins, and that's okay. Wiggins got paid.
He did.
Wiggins got paid,
Wiggins got paid for being a number one option on a bad
and then
team.
he'll get paid again. Wiggins will easily get $100 million on his next contract, and you know it. Teams are.
I think it's
Teams
also
will,
team circumstance.
yeah, but like even still, if Wiggins is he's hitting 39% of his threes, and he's shooting. He's a good finisher, and he plays defense, and he has a ring, and he's been an all-star. Like teams are gonna give him $100 million off rip. Harrison Barnes got paid in this league, bro. Like we
That's
gotta
facts.
we gotta realize that like if you're 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and you play defense and you shoot threes, you get paid $100 million off rip.
Nemo is not buying it, he says. Too many non-good defenders, too much usage. This is a formula for wreckage in my mind.
But the Knicks, like there aren't bad defenders. That's what I'm saying. Like Brunson is not a bad defender. Mitchell's not a bad.
Brunson's undersized, I think. Is
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a lot
Like
of people match undersized with bad defender, but like look at it this way. I forgot who replied this under someone's tweet, but they mentioned
Brunson's strong.
I think it might have been Schwinn that said this or someone else on Nick's Twitter, but someone had mentioned that like the Mavs, they didn't have that many. Like, where are the Mavs? Where's all their great defenders
Yeah,
last year?
you
And
know,
they were like what, a top
yeah.
five
I
defense?
mean, they had Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith like
But
on
like
the
other
wing.
than
But
that,
like,
like
yeah,
there wasn't really like
like
they had Luca and Brunson out there. I
they
mean,
were running Luka, Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie lineups with Dorian Smith at the 5. Like a lot of defense is effort and like giving a
it
shit.
is. And we
And
saw that during the 2000, we saw that during the We Here year. We didn't have like a bunch of like excellent defenders. We just had guys that like played really hard. And if
yeah,
you have like guys that play really hard as well as having like explosive offensive firepower, I think that kind of like mitigates that to a degree.
and you also have like 48 minutes of rim protection. Like you have elite rim protector in Mitch Robinson, a sub elite one in
Hartenstein
Hartenstein, and Hartenstein can switch onto
and
the perimeter.
Sims.
Same with Sims. Not to mention you'll have like Cam in there, who likely will probably stay in the team. Like I think for Ron Hart probably in rotation. You maybe need one more wing defender, and I wouldn't be surprised if like Rose is used to get that wing defender, like a Dylan Brooks or whatever. But like they could throw out a bunch of wing. They could basically have like Brunson, Spider, and a bunch of wings and a bunch of long dudes, and that's a decent rotation. Like a bunch of wings for the situation, and like Deuce once in a while, you know. But like ultimately, that's a good team. That's a good team, and that's a team that like can live with the bad, well, quote unquote bad defense, but like it'll be fine defense.
Nemo says you can hide one player easily, not two. I think with the defense, um again, I think it's more about with Spider, the concerns about him defensively were more effort based. He has the physical tools, like we said, to be a pretty okay defender. He has a 6'10" wingspan. He's at 6'3". Um, I think he has the tools that he can be a pretty okay defender. With Brunson, he's undersized, but he also like just plays hard on that end. He's also a really smart player, so he knows like what spots to be at defensively as well. And I think Dibs can coach him into those spots. RJ, we know he's going to give you defensively. Julius, again, with him, it's just like effort. Effort is the biggest thing with him on both ends. And then with the center rotation, we know what we're getting with rim protection, and then we get some mix of like perimeter switching with Hartenstein, and maybe which Mitch gets back to that to a degree, maybe not, but even then you still have pretty solid defense. I think
Yeah,
it's not going to be like top 5 eye popping defense like it was in 2009 2020 21, but
yeah. Like, they'll
I think it's
never
going
get
to be an
back to
okay
that.
defense.
They'll never get back to that again because they're sacrificing for offensive efficiency, which is what they should do. So like, if they're a decent defense and an above average offense, you can live
I
with
think
it.
you take that.
Yeah, like, I would take that easily. Like that's a good team. That's a playoff team, and that's definitely a team that can like has room to grow.
Yep. I mean, did we speak on like what we think the packages are gonna be, or like
I
did
mean,
we
I
speak on
talked
that loosely?
talked about it in passing, but I was like, I'm thinking Grimes, Obi, Fournier, 5 first. Like you could say, oh, that's a fleece, that's a fleece, that's a fleece, but like they don't want Cam, they don't want RJ. Quickly is probably not going on the deal, and they can't trade Mitch, and they can't trade Sims. So you're looking at Grimes, who has to headline the package because he was in the report. So they want Grimes, and you're probably looking at a situation where like it'll be Fournier just for like salary matching purposes, just to, like get closer to his figure, and then it'll
Could they
be
do
like
Fournier and Rose? Like I feel a lot of people are throwing that package together. Can they do Fournier and Rose? Is that package
I don't see what. I
feasible?
mean, it's possible, but I don't see why the Knicks would do that. I don't see why the Jazz would do that either. Like, I don't think the Knicks do it because I think they want to trade. Like, they want
I
salary to
think
trade
I
still.
think I think the Jazz do it just in terms of like having like oh. Anyways, I think the Jazz do that just in terms of let me add Tyrese back to the stream. Tyrese, what happened?
My bad. I tried to mute for a second. I hit the start cam button by accident. I don't know how. Whatever.
But anyways, I think the Jazz I think they take Rose just in terms of like having salary to just like move around because like they still have Pat Bev on the roster. I don't think Pat Bev's gonna be there long term. So like I think they could take Rose on as in terms of like contract matching as well as like they want to have a salary to move around in another trade because like I think
I
Pat
don't.
Bev is gonna be on the move soon.
I don't think they care about salary to move because they're trying to tank. That's my thing. Like, I don't think they care about salary.
Well, like see, like say they come across a deal where like they want to get Rose, they can give someone Rose and they get like a second or something.
I don't think that matters. Like, if they cared about seconds, the deal would be done already. I don't think they care about seconds. I think they want straight up first. The only second I can see them wanting is the Knicks owning the Jazz 2024 second. That's the only second I can see them caring about. Otherwise, this is gonna be about first and first only. So
For me,
like
I just see it as like I'm looking at it similar to the framework of the Gobert trade in a way where like they took on like they took whose contracts did they take on? They took on Pat Bev.
Pat
They
Bev,
took
Malik Beasley,
Malik Beasley.
not Vanderbilt,
They did take on Vanderbilt.
McLaughlin, and
No, they didn't take McLaughlin. I think it
Walker
was
Kessler.
Walker Kessler and Balmaro. That's who they
Balmar,
took.
yeah, black ass Balmaro. Anyway,
Didn't we have him for like a brief like split
yeah,
second?
he was like we got him in the part of the IQ trade, but yeah,
And then they gave up 4 firsts and like a swap or something.
yeah, it was 4 firsts and a swap, which is wild. Like it was
So like if we scale down that trade and
yeah, I think it'll probably be like I'm thinking around the same value in terms of like player to pick ratio. So what one more pick to like keep them honest, and then like the players are like better than what they got in the deal for Gobert. But yeah, I don't think it'll be like anything crazy. Like people are saying, like, oh, the Knicks are about to do the Melo thing.
ESPN is like drunk
Nah,
with like the
Bobby Marks needs
trades.
to stop using his trade machine. First of all, the ESPN trade machine isn't even good. Second of all, like he said 7 first round, like he said the RJ Barrett package would cost 5 first round picks. That shit is wild. That shit is wild. Bro, RJ Barrett and 5 first round picks is not fucking happening. And then he was like, all right, this is the non RJ package, and it's gonna be 7. Like, stop it. Who are the Knicks betting against?
No one, which is like the wildest thing because like I forgot which trade. Okay, so like they even had these articles which gave like different trades. So for the Knicks, it was Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gay, for Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, Miles McBride. Knicks 23, 25, 27 first round picks, the Mavs 23 first round pick, and the Wizards 23 first round pick. For the Toronto Raptors, they wrote Toronto gets Donovan Mitchell and they only give up Gary Trent, Kem Birch, Malachi Flynn, the 23, 25, and 27 first round picks. And then for the Heat, they also wrote, oh, they made it a 3-team deal. It was Utah gets Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, 23, 27, 29 first round picks. Miami gets Donovan Mitchell, Udoka Azubuike, and Oklahoma City gets 25 first round pick via Miami, 24 second round pick, and a 2028 and a 2029 second round pick. Whoever wrote these articles needs to be on drugs because, like, how are these equal value all across the board? I just don't see that.
I think it's like people are just surprised the Knicks had like far and away the best offer,
So
and also
they have to like absolutely ransack the Knicks in all these deals
yeah, because people are like, oh, how does the deal not get done with RJ Barrett? And it's like, dude, because
easily because they don't
no,
want him.
again, all Miami has is Tyler Hero, and they don't want Tyler Hero. So at that point, it's just a one-man race. Like you look at the odds are 1-1 right now. Like it's 1-1 versus 4-1 for the Heat. Like that should tell you how fucking strong the Knicks offer is compared to the field. And I think third is like 7-1 Boston. Like everybody knows that the Knicks have the best offer. And what I see Nemo saying, I don't get the rush. In 6 months, our players will be more valuable, and you could also trade the newly signed players.
Again, there's no rush on the Knicks end. I think
Yeah.
with the Knicks, I think fans as well as the team alike is very fine just running it with the guys that we have. I mean, they've been clearly very comfortable giving Quentin Grimes more responsibility on the ball because I think they're going to expand his role this year if they keep him, which is fine by me and most of the fan base as well as I think fine by the team. So I don't think there's any rush on the Knicks end. It's more of like there's more rush on the
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 Jazz
Jazz
end
end
because
because
they said
they're
that
losing leverage as it goes on because the package for Donovan Mitchell will be less and less. And if the Knicks are out of that running, then so be it. But I think they'll still be in the running for it no matter what. So the Knicks are never in a rush for this. I think it's more of like Danny Ainge is putting pressure by leaking to the media because like he wants this deal to get done and he wants as much stuff as he can, but the Knicks don't have to give him what he wants. They can just
exactly
hold out.
like
So
the reason why you're hearing all the news is because Danny Ainge wants you to hear
it's
it.
fiending. He's fiending right now. Like to put it
I
in
told
New
you,
York
like
terms, he's fiending.
he is on his hands and knees begging the league to somehow beat the Knicks B plus offer. This is their B offer because their A offer is RJ, Quickly, all those dudes. The Knicks literally are sending out like their scraps, and they're like, okay, well we can't even beat this. So I guarantee you, when that deal comes out and when that deal happens, it's going to be such a fucking steal, just in terms of like sheer value, because the Knicks are giving up nothing. Like Grimes will hurt a little bit.
It will
The
hurt.
pick,
I
like it'll
definitely
hurt.
enjoyed his development this summer.
Like the picks, you got them from your draft night trades, and like 2 first round picks that you barely are even going to use. Like it does not matter the value for Donovan Mitchell. The Jazz know it. The Knicks know that they can wait, and the Jazz don't want them to wait. Because if the Knicks get another offer, they're going to pivot, and then the Jazz are left with taking the shitty offer that they know they don't want.
Yep. I mean, Ozzy Mozzie asked, are they going to put protections on our picks?
No.
Probably not. Because I mean the picks that we got from draft night, those already have protections, I believe. So there's no need to put any extra protections on our picks. Because I think that kind of like weakens the deal in a sense and weakens the package. So if we just leave our picks the way they are, I think it's better that way. It gets the deal done faster, most likely.
Yeah, like I think like the Knicks can afford to unprotect a couple picks. Like that's fine because they still have picks left over. So, and they'll probably have 2 picks again this year because I don't think they're trading the 23 picks.
Okay. Azimazi also says I think Jazz are going to suck even with Spider, so we might even get him cheaper at the trade deadline.
Yeah, that's also why they're making this deal now because they fucking know that they're gonna suck next year.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, so that's why there's no rush for the Knicks right now. Like they can just chill. They don't have to comply with what Danny Ainge wants.
Yeah, because like they know the market, they're not gonna go past this market, and they know that nobody else can beat it. Like the only way some team can beat it is if they're trading a star back. But like, why would the Jazz do that?
Yeah, Jazz don't want to start back,
They
so
don't want
it's
a star
like
back. They want a tank. So Yeah, like the Knicks are going to get Donovan Mitchell because nobody can beat their offer, and it really just comes down to how long did Danny Ainge gonna act like he has leverage.
Yeah. Get to a last couple of these before we end this show. Thank you everyone for commenting, asking questions, all that good stuff. Helps the show really flow through. JL, I wonder how Julius will adjust from being the guy to like the third or fourth guy in 1 year.
He'd be alright. We not worried, bro. He went to the like they fucking know. Julius fucking knew he was not going to be the number one dude in this team forever.
Alright,
You think he would have taken?
alright,
He literally took the
alright,
low ball deal so he
alright,
could
man.
stay on the team. Like he's
Alright,
fine. I'm not worried
alright,
about that.
alright. When he's throwing a temper tantrum after the team is up like 15 in the fourth quarter because he's not on the court and he's throwing like water coolers in the back. And we on post game talking about like why Julius threw a cup at the assistant coach. Like, I just want you to remember this.
Nigga, fuck Darren Irvin.
I just want you to remember this. I just want you to remember this, man. When he's throwing cups at the assistant coaches because he's not getting put in the game.
Oh nah,
in the fourth quarter.
You could throw a cup at Rick, and then Jalen go come out swinging, and that shit could be on ESPN the absolute next minute it happens. Oh, that shit gonna be hilarious. No, I'm joking, but like yeah.
Nah, it's I think it's a valid concern though, because like last year we kind of saw like when other guys had it going, as we've mentioned on here like a bunch these last couple post games, is like he's very non-engaged. I mean, Schwinn has some threads on it. I've clipped a clip from the podcast of us discussing this, so it's like so it's like I want to get to this other
I see it. I got something for that ass. Bring it up.
No, but seriously, I think it's a valid concern because like we said a million times, there's valid concerns of like when he is not the focal point of the team, the effort level is just not there, and like on both ends, it is a tire fire, and it's not fun to watch, and it just brings down the whole like vibe of what you're watching. Like I remember this is one thing that always sticks out to me. It's that game where Alec Burks hits that shot in the fourth quarter against the Bulls. Knicks, like, they're really vibing, and like Julius walks off the court like angry, pissed after we just beat the Bulls, who are like a top team in the East at the time. And like it's just stuff like that. It's just like why? Just why? And like things like that, they're always gonna stick with me when it comes to like these questions come up of how will he adjust to not being the focal point or the guy anymore. And for me, it's just like I don't know, because we just saw what happened when it was that case, and it did not look pretty. So it's a valid concern.
All right, get to this comment.
We got Chris Bernard. Terry's constantly trying to send Ovi to Jupiter so we can watch Beyblade play. Do you have no shame? Where have our values gone as a society?
Y'all have been twerking for that senior citizen we call fucking Obi Toppin for a goddamn 2 years. I'm so sick of it. Obi Toppin is a good player. Can we stop acting like he young? He older than me. He's 24. He's 1 year younger than Donovan. That nigga is washed. I know his knees hurt when he wake up in the morning. Fuck. Like, come on. Like, he's a good player. That's what he is. A good player. He's not some star. He's not some franchise chasing talent. They drafted him to trade him. I said it the moment he was traded. I'd be shocked if he got a second contract here. And it's not because he's bad, but it's just because, like, literally, I don't think they were going to do. I did not think they were going to do fucking Julius and Obi. I thought one of them was going to go, and Julius is not going out in this deal. So, like, this isn't me saying. This isn't me saying. This isn't me saying, oh, fuck Obi Toppin. No, Obi Toppin's a fun player. I like dunks. We all do. But he has more value in this deal. And he's probably going to go out because Cam is like less valuable. So, like, hey, he gets to put up like 16, 6 and 3 in fucking Utah. Like, he half white. He'll fit in with Mormons. Like, bro, you twerked for so crying about getting booed. Dude got the mental toughness of a 13-year-old girl. Horrendous. All right, first of all, chill with that, please. Hey, we don't slander mental health over here. But yeah, like just it's whatever, bro. Like
Yeah, the booing thing. It doesn't. For me, it doesn't get. It got talked about a lot when it first happened, but like it kind of.
everybody, every like Nick star at one point is like hated the booing, bro. Melo did the same shit and nobody fucking cared.
I don't even remember it.
Remember that game against Cleveland when like LeBron just came back and like the Knicks were getting blown out. It was fucking on national TV, and then like the Knicks and the Melo
Well,
team
I
like
mean,
wait,
also it's like it's mellow.
yeah, but like they were booing Melo, bro. Like they booed Ewing. If you're on the Knicks, at some point you get booed.
But I think it's also the way he handled getting booed,
Yeah, okay, so
which turned off everyone.
Melo whacking his finger at the fans, going, "No, we don't do that," is not the same shit.
But I mean, it's
Patrick
Melo.
Ewing,
It's a player of a different pedigree.
yeah, but Melo, fucking okay, Melo, Patrick Ewing went to the fucking press and was like, "I'm tired of it. I'm sick of New York." Like,
But he stuck through it, and he got us to the finals a couple times.
no, that was
So
like I think that was like towards the end of his career, and then they fucking shipped him off to the Sonics. Like, if you're in New York, at some point you're gonna get booed.
and it's about how you handle it.
Yeah, and those guys didn't really handle it, and then they got shipped off. Like, but
Well,
we don't care. Like,
I mean, they're also players of way different pedigrees than Julius Randle.
I mean, whatever, bro. Like, Melo at that point was washed. Okay, but it's Melo, bro. Jesus, Randle is even a top 10, 20 athlete in that. When does this nonsense end? Like,
I said that comment, but I just want to address JL's comment because I think he makes a again another valid point. Telling a guy who made All NBA second team a year ago, even though it was fake, preach, brother. To take a back seat won't be easy, considering the guy might be a little emotional. Yeah, I mean, yeah. All valid concerns, and I mean, these concerns will continue to remain with the team as he remains on this roster, and they'll continue to remain until we see how he handles things next year. Because I mean, the fan base is still obviously not happy with him being here, and he looks like he's still going to be here. So it's going to be very interesting. Terry's any closing comments before we head off for the night?
I've been right about everything so far this offseason. I'll be right again.
All right. Well, that does it for today's show. We will be back at you guys for the next Knicks Summer League game, whether that be the championship game or whatever consolation game they get. Most likely it will be the championship game. So we'll catch you guys after that. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for all the comments. Everything Strickland related is in the description as always. So if you need a link to the site, the Twitter, make sure you're following us there. Patreon, if you want to support us that way, through all those tiers, as well as the merch site. Make sure you check out the merch. We got some good stuff there. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next episode. Peace.
Use the code for DraftKings.
Yep.